Welcome to the Jack Dodsons Racing Insider News. We got Jack Dodson, Scott Allen, Joe Staples. We had a great race this weekend. The Hampton Heat was a lot of fun.
It was an exciting race.
It was.
And the race that Matt Waltz put on at the end of that race,
to come back,
came all the way back up there.
And I tell you, I think if he didn't have to do that, if he wouldn't have got spun there at 101 or 103, whatever it was, I think he was the only one to really have anything for Lee. And I gotta give it to Lee. When Wyatt put them 3 wide there for second, I think he was, and he just backed off, went to like 6th or 7th, 8th maybe, and just worked his way right back on up there. But you know, when you're a national champion, and everywhere you go, it's like you're the guy to beat.
Right.
You know, you got a fast enough car. I mean, I don't know if I could have backed out. It'd have been hard. I mean, I understand why, but it's hard to do in that situation. When you know you got a fast car, you just need to get in front of them, and then you'll leave them. But
he knew that when he backed out of it, he knew he was going to go back to the front. And it's just a matter of time and taking his time and not burning his tires up, and he didn't do that. I mean, that's the prime example of why he's a 2-time national champion. He knows exactly what he's doing. And he was on a rail for a lot of that race. I mean, he was out there. But I tell you what, Matt Waltz proved his worth the other night too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But it was some great racing the whole night. I mean, everything.
I mean, that
first segment was almost accident free. But boy, the last segment, it was definitely tough. Well,
yeah, they had a lot of caution laps. There was 79 caution laps, I believe.
Is that how many there was?
Something like that. Yeah, because Kyle was up there in the spot, and he was ranting and raving about it.
He gave us an update.
But I mean, Lee definitely, he's the man. I mean, there's no doubt he's the man.
He's got him covered.
But let's talk about the Cup race or Indy.
Well, before we go to the Cup race for a minute, let's send our
congratulations.
Send our best wishes out to Buddy Baker.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
I understand that Buddy's in real bad shape. I heard today that it's just a matter of time.
Man.
And everybody knows how big Buddy Baker was and how strong he was and everything. So I met him in Rockingham a few years ago. So it's really kind of sad to see that happen. And he signed off serious one night after I left here. I was listening to it, and I mean, you could tell he was in tears, and he knows what's going on. So
yeah, it is a tough deal. I know somebody may say this is wrong of me, but I would probably rather go out fairly quickly than to be a couple of year ordeal of being sick and having.
Well, he's not said what the time frame is on this, but evidently it's really fast because they say he's in right bad shape right now. So I just want to send out our best wishes to him.
What a great guy and a great role model for the sport. I mean, honestly.
And I mean, it's the old time guys that I still have a little soft place. Don't even say it. I know what you're getting ready to say.
Oh no.
But
old people tend to stick together.
But I mean, I like those old time guys. My thing is, I kind of wish he'd have made the Hall of Fame.
Well, there's no doubt
he's going to make the Hall of Fame, but I wish he had
been able to.
Yeah, I wish he'd been able to do it because he was there when his dad made it. Yeah, and it would just be.
Is his dad still around?
No, his dad passed away. That's the reason why he was there for that. He accepted it for his dad. But I just, I'm kind of partial to them old race car drivers. I don't know why.
Well, I will say too, I am too, because I would almost rather grow up in that area myself, in that era. I love the innovation that those guys did, and now it's
different.
So hard to be able to work in a gray area and get an advantage now.
So I just, I think he's one of those guys. I already miss him off serious because I love going home on Tuesday nights. That's what I'd listen to all the way home.
Well, he had great input on
yeah.
even on today, because it wasn't really that long ago that he was still doing some testing and stuff.
He was testing for Roger Penske. He did
for all the speedway stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize
and Ryan Newman owes him a lot.
Oh yeah, right. He helped get Ryan Newman to Penske when time.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a bad time, but send our best wishes out to him.
Thinking about him,
and please say a little prayer for him, because it's gonna be a tough day. And anyway, all right, back to our race.
Well, should we congratulate our other friends there, Kinsey and
oh yeah, Kinsey Rustin and Daniel Hemrick announced this weekend they getting married. Went to St. Lucia, got engaged to be married. That's kind of.
Yeah, well, I think his life is probably is he's getting ready a lot of things probably in the next couple of years.
I'm not going to ask anymore who the better driver is.
We tried to get something stirred up. She told us her boyfriend was she wouldn't tell us who he was. I don't think.
No, she wouldn't tell us at first. And I told her, I said, I will find out who it is, and I did.
And we were like, well, who's the better driver? Well, I'm not going to say. He's a pretty good driver. He won $1 million at the shootout at
Charlotte.
Okay.
In Charlotte with the
Did you
Legends cars.
Did you already connect it?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
But the Cup race, I mean, man, what a Kyle Busch. This dude is on fire. And I don't know if it's like some of them say is he's been hurt, so he knows what it's like to sit outside and watch your race car run. So it just made him even more determined. I would have never, even at the beginning of the year, I would have never seen him and his crew chief hitting it off as well as those guys have.
4 out of 5. 4 out of 5. He even won the Xfinity race on Saturday. Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
He's
on
red
the last
hot.
lap.
And he's red hot. And he's going to drive the truck this week in Pocono.
I mean, and now he's what? I posted.
27.
I thought
he's 23 points.
Yeah,
23 points. Okay, yeah. I thought it was 27.
Which is still a lot of points, but not a lot of points. As long as I can't say he's going to be in the 30s yet. He's got plenty of time to do it now. I think the last 2 weeks winning these races, he's made a huge chunk of them up. So he's 23 points. That's a half a field. He could do it this weekend, but if he wrecks, he could go in the other direction and be in the whole works.
It's like we were discussing last week. He's gonna have to go into a little bit of a survival mode,
right?
Because he can't afford to tear up anything,
right?
But he's still got to be a little bit aggressive to get to the front.
Yeah. So I'd say in a couple of weeks, that's probably he's going to have to start kind of going on the defense and see who he's racing against, and then that's going to change the whole dynamic. So then, okay, well you got 14th, 15th, and 16th. Those guys are going to have to be moving up because that's going to bump one of those guys out.
Yeah.
So those guys. So essentially, I think you're racing for 15th. 16th is gone.
I'm
pretty sure
yeah.
That's going to happen. So it's going to be interesting how Richmond. I mean, honestly, I hope it comes down to like Richmond for Kyle to get in because that would just create so much drama for Richmond.
And I tell you, I am not, and I haven't made the phone call. I was going to make the phone call this week, but I didn't make it. But Jeff Gordon is having a terrible time.
He should have retired last year.
And
but I really thought those guys would have kept not missed a beat, but man, the wheels have just fell off.
And
what could go wrong has gone wrong.
And that wasn't a car issue so much as it was a Jeff issue. He got underneath him and kind of maybe the air did get off the car where he spun it. But I tell you what, if I told Chris Sherwood, who's on Clint Boyer's team, the best thing they could do is for the two of them not to even be near each other anymore. Clint and Jeff have hit in the pit.
Oh yeah, the week before. Yeah,
they bumped each other on the track. They hit each other a couple other times. And then who remember Phoenix a couple years ago?
That was a biggie.
Yeah. So they're not. They're something else. I mean, I wouldn't want to be around them. And then they were parked right beside each other in the garage.
Well, Clint ended up 6th.
Yeah,
I believe. He had a decent run. And what about David Reagan?
He had a good run.
And then let's talk a little about. It looks like Danica is probably going to stay at Stewart Haas. We got a jet going over.
Well, that's what it says.
You don't think that's really what's going to happen?
I don't think that's going to happen.
Really?
I think they're trying because they want to keep her in NASCAR.
Well, she's going to be somewhere.
The name is going to be there, and that's going to attract whatever.
Hey, let me tell you, if I was a sponsor, you get much more publicity with her than about any other driver besides Dale Jr., but you're going to pay this for Dale Jr. and you're going to pay this for her. I think for the money, it's a great bang for your buck.
Right.
But the thing is, from what I'm hearing, and I got a little birdie down. Little birdie down there. They still have not got it solidified to where it's a full season. They can't. They have not got all the sponsorship lined up for a full season. So I mean, I don't know if that's going to mean anything in the grand scheme of things.
Right.
But it's a possibility. I mean, it's a possibility. Nothing's written in stone that says that it couldn't happen. I just don't see it happen.
That's the rumblings that are.
That's what Jayski says.
Yeah.
Let's put it out there.
Well, we did hear that this weekend, didn't we? Something about Jayski.
Yeah, that's what Jayski says.
Well, if it's Jayski says, well, that doesn't really mean anything.
So it's like last year, and I'm going to bring it up again. It's like last year.
Why look at me like that for?
Like last year, I told y'all what was going to happen with Jeff Gordon, and nobody, and Al Pierce, who's the big mucky muck over at Langley this weekend, said, you don't know what you're talking about. You're crazy.
Well, he says that. Don't feel bad. He says that about everybody.
Well, the bad part about it is I knew what I was talking about.
Well, I will say I didn't believe you either. And not that if you said something now that I would still believe you, but
thank you very much for saying that.
Well, and then let's see who else you got. David Reagan. They look like they're trying to put something together for him for next season. So it looks like he may stay.
He's going to stay. I think he will.
They got to find sponsorship.
Yeah, I think he'll stay. They're hoping Aaron's will come back next year, but I hear Aaron's is not coming back next year.
Right. We hear that's a pretty much a done deal.
That's a pretty much a done deal. They're going somewhere. But we'll just see what happens.
But he had a good run. Truex had a good run.
Yeah.
But man, I just don't know if you can bet against Kyle Busch right now.
He's definitely on a roll.
I could see him winning a couple more races before the chase starts.
I do too.
And the bad part is he took that part off. He gets into the top 30. I just don't know how it's going to go when the chase starts. Is the fire going to go out because he's already sort of peaked?
I don't think so. I think he's had that problem for a couple of years when he gets to the chase. I think this year he's
got something to prove.
He's on a
set
mission.
out.
Yeah, definitely got something to do.
He set out for a little while, and I think it's a whole different. And I was telling somebody the other night, probably at the racetrack, they ought to take Kyle Busch outside in November, break his leg.
I know, right?
And let it heal up, and then send him to Daytona.
Well, who was it that broke their leg? Denny that time. He broke his leg in the chase and came back and won Martinsville, I believe it was.
They won up,
But his leg broke a week prior or something or other. What about, Tony Stewart ran good the first half of the race and then
fell out. He didn't fall out, but he fell back.
His luck is him and Jeff. I think Jeff's is worse, but
I believe Jeff's is worse too.
Yeah, but he just cannot get anything going. And if there was a place I thought it would happen, as much laps he's got there and as well as he's ran there, I know he's got 2 wins. I don't know if he's got 3. I know he's got 2. I'm pretty sure he's got 2. I think Kevin's got 2 or maybe 3. But man, I just feel bad for the guy. Him and Jeff. It's just like, Jeff had all the Mears guys there and the Kinzer guys there as guests of his. They were all there on pit road, beginning of the race, and then 26 laps in.
Was, from what I heard, it was a circus around Jeff up there for the whole weekend. And I hate for it to end like I hate for it to end that way, you know. But that's the way it ended. And
I mean, he's still in the chase, and he could still get hot. I mean, and I don't see it happening because it just doesn't have that feel. But I would have told you it was going to be a struggle for Kyle to get to the top 30.
Right.
Maybe win a race. I figured he would win a race. No way in the world I would have thought we'd be sitting here winning 4 out of 5 races.
Plus, what? An Xfinity win. And I wouldn't count him out next week in the trucks either.
He does good in the trucks, so yeah.
Now let's talk about the trucks. The Eldora. Eldora was after we left here last week. Chris Bell wins the Eldora race.
I think it was great to see 2 dirt track guys that are new to the truck series, because that was Bell's 3rd race.
Bell's truck.
In the truck series.
Mm-hmm. And the boy behind him was in a I can't think of his name. He hasn't run that many.
He was in Mike Mittler's truck,
which is not a top-notch team.
And that was the first time that team had even been in the top 5 or in the top 10 in a long time.
And led some.
He was awesome.
I mean, he had a
little bit of Kyle Larson in him, though.
Yeah.
He loved running up there and he banging that truck off the wall.
Guys. Well, that was the only place you could get any grip, you know. It was crazy. I thought that move that Austin Dillon did there at the end, I thought he was going to have a shot at it, but then he just couldn't come up off the racetrack and keep the momentum going. It was super entertaining to watch.
I love that dirt race. I mean, you know, it's
was
different.
Fun. Yeah.
It's different, and you know, you get
different people are running up front.
And I mean, the whole racing is different. You don't see the same thing going on.
Yeah, I think you got the new people that came in. It moves the people. It's not the same people all the time running up front. Mm-hmm. It was a great week of racing. I mean,
well, nothing beats the Hampton Heat. I think we had a great time at the Hampton Heat.
We did 31 cars.
31
I think,
cars
officially,
and 17 finished.
17 finished.
17 cars finished.
And one car didn't. There was one car that didn't finish. Terry Carroll's car was tore all 2 pieces.
Actually, a lot of it was body. He said we went over and talked to him, and really nice guy.
Yeah.
And he was, and the bad part, you know, he doesn't have some of the equipment those other guys have got. And in the last couple of weeks, he had done, and he was running well. I think he was in the top 10 or top 8. I think when he wrecked. I don't remember what exactly happened, but and then his son got a flat there, and of course he baited a caution there. I don't know if they said anything about that on the radio.
No, they didn't.
About the radio, you can't blame him. You can't blame him. But he managed to get his laps back, and I don't know where he ended up.
Natalie Decker ran all over top of him and ran over Terry in that wreck.
Yeah,
felt sorry for her. But
I know she just doesn't look like a race car driver.
No,
she's just a little teeny, and she's got that little that voice. Hey,
I went over to her. At the halfway break.
She looks like she's 12.
I went over to her at the halfway break, and I said, "Are you all right?" Yeah, I'm fine. And I'm sitting there going, "That's not a race car driver. Dude.
I know.
That's not a race car driver's voice." I mean, you know.
But that weekend that she fainted, I thought she was.
We should have asked her about that.
I didn't think about it.
As far as how the doctor's visit went. Yeah.
Well, I was thinking about fainting the time she was here before, but.
Well, I thought she was just one of the driver's girlfriend, you know, until she came on the show.
Oh, really?
You know? Yeah. So, she looks more like a cheerleader than she does a.
You got that?
A driver.
But I tell you, Greg made it interesting there at the end. I thought he roughed Lee up a little bit. Didn't wreck him. He just moved him up the racetrack.
Did what he was supposed to do.
Yeah. Didn't wreck him. Just moved him a little bit. That was his shot he had, and he knew.
Yeah.
For a minute, I thought he was going to pull away, but he pulled away a couple of laps, and Lee just running right back down, did the same thing, went by and went on.
I'm going to try to call Lee.
Mm-hmm. And what about Butterbean? Butterbean did a really good job. He wasn't very popular there after the race, but I think he ran well.
Yeah, he did do it.
But he's got good help.
He hasn't even got a win. Has he had a win yet? No.
No.
But it's going to be hard to get a win, to beat Greg Edwards, Danny Edwards. I mean, you got a lot of
Mark Works.
I think he could outrun Mark. And what about Tyler Hughes?
Oh, Tyler's been awesome.
I mean, led some of the Hampton Heat. I think he was another one that only had. I think there was only a couple people that had anything. I think Matt Waltz and Tyler Hughes was probably the only two that had anything for Lee.
Yeah.
Tyler led some there. I don't know if Lee just kind of let him ride, which would have been smart. That's probably what I would have done.
Settle a little bit.
Which the cone, one of the cautions helped me because he had fell back to 7th there, or 8th. He said he wanted to go past 7th.
On that last one, though, on that last time when they put the cone out there, and Lee went to the outside, I told you then, I said, I don't know if that's a good idea or not.
Yeah.
But it was like Scott said, every time it worked, and it worked again, but I didn't think it was going to work with Mark Wirtz on the inside of it.
I think Mark had just used his stuff up trying to get back up to the front. And I think he had just killed his tires. 200 laps is a long time on a set of tires.
Yeah.
So I think just Matt had just worn his stuff out. And I looked at the times, and he was just about a half a tenth or maybe a tenth off from Lee at the end. And I think if he'd have just been up front and stayed up front, he would have had something for him. But having to come back from the back of the field, fight those lap cars, he just didn't have nothing for him.
And the guys that were there for the first time, like Joe said earlier, Juan Garcia and some of those other guys that had never been there before, they really did well.
And what's his name that we had last week? Colin. He ran. Where did he end up? He ran well.
He was in the top 10, wasn't he?
I can't remember, but he had a good finish. It was. I forget. I had looked it up. Let's see. All right, what's your question there? Let's see. Kyle makes it in a chase. Who do you think will have to run Kyle or Kurt? I had to say Kyle. I think right now runs better. I mean, Kurt has won a race. He's ran well at times.
He's not
a championship contender. I would not put him in that.
Well, I don't know if I'd say he's not a championship contender, but I don't think he's anywhere near what Kyle is.
No.
He's not even in the same area code with Kyle Busch right now. Well, right now I don't know if anybody is, tell you the truth.
Right.
I mean, you don't know who's in that situation.
Yeah, for sure.
It was up, you know, with that late model race over at Langley the other night. It was good to see some good late model racing. The fans were there in full force.
Yes,
I was amazed. I was amazed, and I don't know why I was amazed because year before last they did.
It's not hard to amaze you.
You know, you have to fire that shot. You and Joe have got to keep.
Well, I gotta have. You're bigger than I am. I gotta have a backup.
You and Joe have got to stop that. That's the reason why we stick Joe over there.
But it was a fun race, and Tyler blew a motor up. The motor locked up on him on, I don't know, like 70, 80 laps into the race, man. And I don't know, did they ended up making the crate motors put the weight in? I didn't hear. I'd heard some people, they were talking about it was 10 pounds, and I heard somebody else say 15 pounds. And then somebody said, no, I didn't hear him say anything.
We had talked about putting the 10 pounds in there, but no, nothing was done about that. Now, we did, for the inspection process, we did have the top 5 pull their heads. And we did check the heads.
He's going to be quick. He's fast anyway.
Yeah, he's fast. He's up front.
What did he say, Cole?
No, he.
Oh.
Need to get the national champion to answer his phone.
Now, somebody brought something up interesting to me yesterday. He was talking about Shane Laws and how he, talks about the rule book on Facebook. and people are making sure that stuff is right because he knows that's what they're going to check, and then working on something else, or they say not anybody would cheat, but people are pushing issue on things that he's not talking about. I think that's going to be a discussion, I would imagine. I don't know if you've heard any of that, but that's what somebody called me yesterday and talking about, you need to change that because everybody is working around what he's talking about on Wednesday or Thursday on the rule book on what they're checking, and then making sure that stuff is right.
Answer the question for me then. You go to Langley. We got an official here. Why would you even tell anybody what you're checking?
Most of the time, the decision is not made until the race is started.
That's what I thought.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it's what he has said is not.
What he's saying is he's just trying to. I guess he's trying to help people with the technical situation.
I think it's funny. Shane's funny, and his little videos kind of goofy with his. I mean, it kind of really looks like him in person if you've seen him, but. Shane's been around for a long time, but
he looked really weird the other night with them socks. We didn't ever get a picture of them socks.
Did you see it?
Him and Jimmy Walker. Yeah, they.
Jimmy had some socks on too?
They text each other and pick their socks before they showed up at the racetrack. Oh God!
Look, the next time we go over there, we're gonna have to get some socks.
Well, I'll tell you what we're gonna do. I'll tell you what we do when we go back. We go in the official side of the press box. And make Shane and Jimmy pull their socks up.
Yes.
But we'll have to get some socks so we can compare.
Yeah.
They do have some special socks that they wear to the racetrack.
Oh, he wore
some
his
checkered flag.
He's proud of them.
He was over there pinching all the guys' butts over there.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was. I didn't know he was like that. But.
And he had a pink shirt on the last race too, so I don't know.
Did you see the picture on Facebook where Kyle was over there asking her a question? I thought it was so funny. I posted on there. I'm like, he must have been really worried about your hair because he was up down them steps. I don't know how many times.
And while we're talking about it, we had James Long and Charlie High up there standing around us. I would love to get those guys.
Oh, yeah.
I think that would be an interesting...
Have you talked to those guys much, Eddie?
No.
I think it'd be great to have them come on the show because I think you could probably get more than you bargained for.
With James, there's no doubt. There's no doubt. Charlie has been around. Charlie actually started building engines for Elton Sawyer. That's where it originally started. Elton Sawyer. And then when they went bush racing, Charlie built their motors, and Ashton Lewis, which owned the team in the beginning, hired him and bought him a dyno, and he started building engines. And then when that team sort of folded, Charlie bought the dyno and started doing late model motors again. So Charlie has been around for forever.
Call from 434.
Are you serious?
2839003.
Joining us now on the show is Lee Pulliam. How you doing, Lee?
Doing well. How you guys doing today?
We're doing great. I'm glad you called in. We was kind of worried about you.
We ain't doing as good as you.
We've been working in the shop, and sorry about that. Just slipped by on me.
Well, first of all, congratulations on a great win the other night at in Hampton at the Hampton Heat. I know you were very proud of that. And give us a little background on what all took place that night.
Well, I appreciate it first off, and just a lot of effort by everybody on the whole team. We had a busy weekend. We raced at 100 Mile Friday, and ended up running second and winning the last race, and then they had Tech, and then we drove all night just to get to Langley. And all the guys, I had a couple cars running both events, so I had a lot of dedicated guys that made the trip, and couldn't have done it without them. So everybody was down on sleep, but we worked, and we went through test sessions and changed a lot on the car to get it where I wanted it. And finally, when the race rolled around, I felt like we had a good shot at it.
Now, when Casey White took you all 3 wide early in the race.
How did you have the discipline to back off and let them go? I don't know if I'd have backed off, but I'd have probably been stuffed up in the fence with a tore up race car.
I don't know what a lot of these guys think so early in the race. some of them trying to win it on lap one, and I seen I was in a predicament that I really didn't want to be at in that time of the race. I knew I had a much faster car than those guys, and I just kind of hung out. I couldn't get going on restarts, and they made it 3 wide. I just left it and let them go, and just let things sort out just a little bit. And then I made me a run back to the front right before the break to get back in the top 5, and just the inside line would not work for me on restarts at all in the first half, and that was my biggest issue. And once I figured out, I said the second half, I'm just going to try this outside and see what happens. Everybody says the outside is not going to work, but the bottom's not working for me, so I didn't have nothing to lose, and turned out it worked well. So everything seemed to fall into place in the second half. We got to stay up front with some really good cars that we could race hard around, but could trust also.
Well, on that last restart, Scott and I were standing up there, and I told Scott, when you went to the outside of the cone on that last restart, I told Scott, I said, I'm not sure that's a wise decision, because Matt Waltz was driving. He was coming through the field pretty fast, but you made it work. I mean, you knew exactly what you were doing in that case.
Yeah, it's definitely tough to make that decision, because so many things can happen when you give a guy the bottom. But Matt, he's a hard racer, but I consider him a clean racer, and he's just talented. And I knew if I could get a good run, I could clean him off the 2, that I'd have a good shot at it, and that's what happened. I just had to really be key and not spin the tires too much on the green flag, and make sure I got through 1 and 2 good. But I knew if I took it bottom, he would just drive by me on the outside, just because my car just would not run on the bottom for a couple laps. So I felt like that was the way that it was definitely going to be me losing the race, was taking the bottom. So I felt like the only choice I had was the outside.
Well, tell us about the paving job, the asphalt that Langley put down. How did that affect everything, and what do you think about it?
I was really worried about it when we first seen it, and I figured it would just be a one-lane racetrack, and everybody would be on the bottom, and if you ever got shuffled to the outside, you go back 20 spots. And I'll be honest with you, I was pretty concerned about it. I figured it would be just a follow the leader race, but it turned out to be anything but that, and I was just shocked, really. I guess probably with the added patch, you could, if you were really, really lean on the guy, you could get your left sides on the patch, and while he had his right sides on it, and you could share it a little bit. But as the race went on, the outside groove got better and better and better, I felt like. So I think the fans had a heck of a race to watch, and I didn't have any complaints from the track, and I feel like there weren't many fans that were disappointed in the race either.
No, I don't think so either. Now you've won the first leg of the 3-way championship, the Triple Crown for the state. How you feel about winning it all now?
Also, this was the one I was worried about the most, because I've never run Langley to Hampton before, and last year we won Bobo and Martinsville, and never, we've been so busy, we just never made the trips to Langley, and finally this year I said, well, we're just going to do something different and start running Langley a little bit, and I feel like we've got a lot more experience at South Boston and Martinsville, so these tracks are very strong for me, and just kind of stay out of trouble, and I get filled up is the main thing.
So will you be coming back to Langley anymore this year to race, or you just going to basically stay out to Motor Mile in South Boston?
Yeah, definitely. I would love to go to Langley more this year, but with the schedule, we're in the championship battle at South Boston, and then the championship battle at Motor Mile, and they race every week the rest of the year. So it looks like we'll be bouncing between those 2 tracks the rest of the year. But after this past weekend, I sure would love to make some more races up there, but just the way the scheduling is working out, it's not looking good.
Like, how many races have you won this year so far?
15.
15.
Well, what's the most you've ever won in a season?
He's already won more this year than I won my whole career.
Last year, I think, all in all, after the regular season, I think we ended up winning 28 last year, and I think the year before I won 31 races, including a Pro Cup race. I won the old Rivers Pro Cup. I won the last X1 Pro Cup race in Henley. So
now,
I think it was 31 that year.
Now you went in all these races, and how in the world do you keep up with everything? You got other cars with other drivers racing. How in the world do you be able to keep all that up and keep it in your mind what's going on?
It's a very, very challenging thing to do, I can tell you that, mentally and physically. But, you know, I love doing it, and I enjoy doing it, so I think that makes all the difference in the world. When you're working to do something you love, you're more passionate about it, and it's not so much work. So, kind of like tonight, I let time get away from me a little bit, and just get involved in it, you know, and just trying to go through everything thoroughly. We do, you know, when we work on a car, so they put my effort into getting this car done, and we go to the next car and get that car done, and then we just put sole focus on one car at a time instead of trying to, you know, distract myself on 3 or 4 cars at one time on the same day. So we got a little sequence that really works out well for us here at the shop, and it shows all of our cars have been running really well.
Now, I heard a rumor through the grapevine that after the race the other night in Langley, you went to the beach. Did you take everybody with you to the beach?
No, unfortunately I didn't. I actually went to the hotel room, and the next day I was back at the shop. So.
Oh, you didn't go?
No, I had a buddy of mine that went to the beach. On my right-hand man, he went down there, him and his girlfriend. But I was back at the shop working. It's a 7-day week thing for me.
Oh, okay. So, are we going hunting over on the Eastern Shore this year?
I sure hope so. I had to miss it the last couple of years just because we've been so busy in the off season. But I'm hoping we'll get back out there this year. I'm definitely a big hunter and enjoy it. So that's what I like to do if I get any spare time. But you know, to be competitive in this deal, you don't get a lot of it.
Yeah, you got that right. Well, we appreciate your time tonight. I know you've been busy, got things going on, but we appreciate your time. Congratulations on a great win over here at the Hampton Heat. Hope to see you again real soon. Hopefully we'll see you at Martinsville for the big race down there. And good luck to you the rest of the year.
All right. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you having me on.
Appreciate it, Lee. Thanks a lot.
Yep. Bye.
Well, and you know, he's still a really young guy.
Yes.
He is.
And to do a lot of what he has done at his age in the team and stuff he's got, that says a lot for him. But I got something I'm sure y'all don't know about. All right, you know, the Triple Crown, the Champ Carts, the first Triple Crown race was rained out, so they're going back. The Champ Carts are going to be the first race for that race now because they're scheduled to be there. We race there twice a year. Bill Mullis is going to Martinsville and is going to ask for us to open up for the late model race at Martinsville.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
He said, I don't know if it'll happen. I've had a million doors shut in my face, but they ain't stopped me from asking.
Right.
But he's going to ask Clay Campbell about having the Champ Carts running a 10-lap heat or 8 or 10-lap heat before the late model race.
Cool.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah. When people was asking me, said, will your cart be ready? I said, yes. Yes, it will be ready. I mean, that'd be crazy. Half-mile race at Martinsville on those Champ Carts.
How many laps can you do on those? Because I think, 25 is the most you can do at Langley? Is it 25 or 27, something like that?
Something like that.
Hello, is this Chris Fleming?
This is Chris Fleming.
How you doing?
The showstopper.
The showstopper from the Madhouse.
What's left of it? We're still kicking.
All right, joining us now on the show is Chris Fleming, one of the, I guess you're a modified crew chief,
car owner, driver.
Jack of all trades.
You do it all, don't you?
There ain't much there I don't do. We build the cars. We run crack them, we flip them again.
Well, that's part of running a Bowman Gray, right?
Yeah, my son wrecked his car, his leading race a couple weeks ago, and he got tagged in the back end. He hit the wall backwards about as hard as I'd seen. I didn't know that it didn't hurt him, but he just killed the wall and knocked the tail clip off the car. And we brought the thing home and put a tail clip on it and took it back to the racetrack this week, and it was faster than it was before. So,
oh, dang.
That's just how we do it.
All right, tell us a little bit about racing out at Bowman Gray. We've never been there. We're going to be there this weekend, but we've never been there, and I've heard all kinds of stories. Give us a little what it's like to race at Bowman Gray.
You got any boxing gloves?
Well, I can't wait for this weekend.
Yeah.
This is going to be an experience, I got a feeling.
Yeah, I guess in my old age I've mellowed out a little bit. You know, but you never know what's going to happen at Bowman Gray Stadium. I've had people, they tell me that they've been to racetracks all over the place, all over the East Coast, all over the Midwest, all over everywhere. I got fans in California, I got fans in Australia. They follow me on my Facebook page, they watch the videos, but you never know what is going to happen at Bowman Gray Stadium. It's unpredictable. The promoter there, Greg Garrison, he is probably, if he run NASCAR, the grandstands will be full. He's an awesome promoter. He knows what the fans want, and he gives it to them.
How many people does the stands hold out there?
It's between 18 and 20,000, but I don't know if y'all behind the computer or not, but pull up my Facebook page and roll down a couple of posts, and you'll see Saturday night there was nowhere to sit. The place was packed, and they were standing behind the wall 2 or 3 or 4 deep. It was crazy. And, you know, you can actually hear the crowd and see the crowd, you know, while you're racing. It's kind of, I mean,
That's crazy.
when you're coming around the pace laps, you got people hanging over the wall giving you double birds, and I mean, some of them yelling for you, some of them shooting you a bird. You just don't know what you're going to get.
All right, for some of the people who don't know Bowman Gray Stadium, it's actually a high school football field, correct?
College.
Or college.
It's actually a college football field, and the grandstands are right against the, you know, we actually race on the running part of the track. It's where, you know, they would have track meets.
Right.
And whatnot. I guess, I've never seen one, but I figured that's what it was for. If you go to a high school football game and, you know, you see the track, you know, you say, how can you race on that? Believe me, we do some racing. Until you witnessed it live, you just, you know, you can watch it on YouTube, you can watch it on the TV show, but until you're there, you just, I got one family that follows me out of Fayetteville, North Carolina, and they packed up like a bus and bring their church.
Goodness.
And they was on the balcony this week, and I think they had a preacher with me. I said, "Oh my God, you brought your preacher." So, I mean, you know, it gets pretty, you know, it gets pretty crazy there. You know, none of us really ever go out to eat together, so, you know, there's not a lot of point in,
Well, you know
hanging out together.
What's interesting to me is that Bowman Gray still has that old time feel to it from what I've seen. I mean, I've not been there. I can't. I'll tell you Saturday night, but it's got that old time feel to it. You still have the connection with the past, with some of the people that race out there. Now, are you don't have any rivalries with the Myers brothers, do you?
Who's that?
Oh.
They must be Morehouse's friends.
Listen, you know, I like to park beside of them because I learned better how to cheat. The two-pecker is. They taught me more about cheating than I've learned in 20 years. I just decided we're going to start parking beside them so we learn how to cheat. We put cameras up. Man, I've got really good at it.
That's a good idea there.
I can't wait to get down there Saturday night now.
I know, right?
I'm going to come looking for you Saturday night. I want to see all this stuff.
Well, I will tell you, the tour race is Saturday night, so, an awful lot of Bowman Gray drivers, let's see, it'll be, which our family, my brother runs the tour races, so he'll be driving the family car, and my two cows will be running. That's Bert and Jason. Let's see, the regulars, are y'all lucky enough to come down on Friday night also?
Probably
No,
not.
I don't think I'll be able to get there Friday night.
See, because the tour race is running Saturday night, they actually backed the weekly series up for Friday night. But if y'all don't get to cut, if y'all don't get to, y'all got to come back. You got to come back when the weekly is more organized by the tours there. You know what I'm saying? It's
Everybody's on their best behavior.
Shit happens on the weekly series. It don't happen nowhere. So, people say, how could that happen at a NASCAR track? Well, it's Bowman Gray, and my brother said it best. He says, you're going to get screwed when you go in the gate, so how could you get mad?
I can't wait to get down. I've always wanted to be there. I've always wanted to see it. So we're kind of glad we're going to get there Saturday night to see it because it's going to be interesting. And you got 4 cars running this weekend?
3.
Actually, we've got a car. We'll run 2 modifieds Friday night, and we'll run the tour car Saturday night. Both of my sons race, so I don't know I never know if they're going to race on Saturday night or they're not. So sometimes they just bring one car, sometimes they bring both cars, and sometimes they don't even show up at all. You never know what they're going to do. Jordan run 5th last week, and his car is really, really fast, and he won a couple weeks ago, and I really want him to race Saturday night. But the good thing about my boys are right now, they don't let Bowman Gray predict what's going to happen in their life, and so many people do. The boys have been able to control it.
Well,
we've been racing down there since the mid-1980s, and our father used to tow race cars down there for Tim Brown's grandfather.
Yeah.
Way before that. So our family's got a long history at Bowman Gray Stadium. So it's the rivalries that we talk about have been going on for generations. So it really won't be long till Bert's got a son, and he's got the cutest little boy you ever seen in your life. And he just kind of smiles, but there's no doubt, his little boy would be a heck of a wheelman. So,
well, what?
Hopefully we'll be racing for a long time. But
about how many modifieds do you get for the regular weekly show there? How many do you usually get there for that?
I know, all across the country, races, the cars that fell off. But, Saturday night, I think we had 18 cars. But, 5 years ago, we would have 28 to 30 cars every week. So, right now, we're having somewhere between 18, 21, 22 cars. And, there's 10 of these cars that can win every week. It's pretty tough. Really good cars that you're not used to seeing at a lot of tracks, which, we do have 2 or 3 cars that do win most of the races, but there's a lot of really good cars. It's pretty interesting when you get here to see, of course, I haven't won a race this year. This time last year, I'd already won 3 races. And, I just stuck in second or third, and I can't win. Seems like every week somebody's always better than me. And, I haven't been able to pull off a win, but, I could go this week and win, and then win the next 2 or 3 weeks, but,
well, maybe that'll be because Morehouse is coming this weekend.
The national points, a lot of the drivers rank. I think, I don't know what I am today, but 2 weeks ago I was 26th in the whole nation. So
that's pretty good.
And Tim Brown was like 15th or 16th, and most of the guys that were ahead of us had run twice as many races as we had. And, it's a lot of cars, a lot of action, and I will tell you guys, kind of like cocaine. If you ever come get some, they say you always come back. That's what Greg Harrison said. But, I heard somebody tell Grady one day, says, "All that pissed off, I'll never be back." He said, "This place is like cocaine. He'll still be back." 1 2 weeks, that it was.
Was it?
They'll write on Facebook, "I ain't never coming back. Screw y'all." First one in the gate.
So Chris, how well do you know Morehouse?
And we apologize ahead of time.
I've known Waterhead about.
Waterhead. I didn't know.
Listen. Hey, he tries to run off with my wife. I gotta watch him.
Oh, okay.
Hey, you gotta watch the boy. He's got away with the ladies, and I told him, I said, "Brian, I've been married 30 years. You stay away from my wife, man. She's supporting my racing." No, really, I guess I've known Brian 5 or 6 years, but
Waterhead.
But I will say this about Brian, racing on the tour, it's more serious than it is Bowman Gray Stadium. Everything's got to be right, and Brian does bring a little bit of what I call flair to the series. A lot of times the officials are on you all the time, and you do get a smile out of Brian every once in a while. And when you're at the racetrack, you've been there 16 hours. It's good to see somebody smile every once in a while. But Brian's definitely been a credit to NASCAR in that respect for sure.
Well, we appreciate you giving us a nickname for him because we always called him Lugnut, but now we're gonna call him Waterhead for a while.
Yeah.
He's been able to tell us a lot of stories, and believe me, he never says a lot of good about me. Every time he walks up, there's a crowd of people. He says, "Look here, Fleming, I guess his rear end's too wide and the wheelbase is too short."
Well, Chris, we appreciate your time tonight. We appreciate you taking a little time out to talk to us. We'll see you Saturday night down at Bowman Gray.
Yeah, most definitely.
We can't wait to come over there. Maybe you can give us a little insight on cheating, too.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all come on down and we'll give you what you come for.
All right, man. We
sounds
appreciate
great.
it. All right, well, we'll see you Saturday night. Have a good night, man.
Sounds good. Thank you. You too.
All right.
Well, Brian didn't disappoint on that.
Yeah, he is a card. I mean, he was a blast.
We could do
on
a whole,
show, man.
a whole hour
He's
with
another
him.
one of those guys
Yeah.
you would like to have for the whole hour because he could probably tell you some things.
yeah.
But
I
Just in case-
wanted to get on my little list here and ask him get down to practical jokes because I'll guarantee you
We'll get
he
him back.
has done some practical
Oh, yeah.
jokes.
we'll get him back. We'll get him back on here, and we appreciate you.
Waterhead.
We appreciate it that Waterhead got us in touch with him, and I know Waterhead's going to be down at Bowman Gray this weekend. I hope Lugnut's not with you, but
I wonder how many people we could get to call him Lugnut.
I think we could probably work that out, especially if especially if Lugnut's with him.
The bad part, he's gonna cuss us like heck because there's only one place it's gonna coming from.
He's not going to be. Yeah, he's not going to be happy with us.
It's
You
like
know,
Chris
see that picture of the crowd?
That
Did you
is.
guys see the crowd at Indy?
Oh yeah, wasn't
I
nothing
meant
on
to
it.
talk 41,000.
Is that all that showed up? I mean,
Which, I mean, it's still a lot of people. It's bigger
Right.
than any other sporting event.
right?
But when you put 40,000 people in a place that holds 250,
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of empty spaces there.
oh,
man.
I could imagine.
God.
Well, I'm gonna try to call Andy Seuss now. Hopefully.
But the Southern mods take a break when Bowman Gray opens up, opening day. And of course, everything's scheduled around Bowman Gray because Bowman Gray means so much to NASCAR.
Mm-hmm. That is pretty neat. I don't know how long Bowman Gray has been around. We have to get some facts.
Yeah.
And I used to know the numbers from when the show was on, but it's been around for quite some time.
Yeah.
Hello?
Andy Seuss, how you doing, sir?
Good, how are you?
All right, we're doing good. This is Jack Dodson. Got Scott Allen and Joe Staples here on the show tonight, and we're glad to have you with us. Join us now is Andy Seuss from the Southern Modified Series
Last year's champion?
and last year's champion. So, what's it look like this weekend for Bowman Gray? I know that's a wonderful place to go to.
Well, Bowman Gray is always a challenge. Tiny little flat track. Probably the smallest track anybody goes to anywhere. Really exciting to get your chance to win in front of 15,000 people. It's going to be tight racing, a lot of physical racing, and you just pray that you're going to have any misfortune and come out on top.
About how many cars will be there for the Southern Modified race?
Probably about 24, I think they'll start there. And, they get good turnout with cars because they do race modifieds there weekly. So it's always a good show. And, it makes it exciting for the fans because you get some of the weekly favorites versus some of the core favorites. And obviously, seeing they run it every week, sometimes they can have the upper hand. A lot like Northern Forties at Riverhead and things like that. So it can always be exciting.
So how's your season been going so far? I mean, how's everything been? How many wins have you got, or whatever? Just give us some background on it.
This season, hasn't been as much of a dream season as last year. Last year with the championship, we completed every lap but one, and that statistic was already not attainable again on lap 13 of the season opener. Got put into the wall pretty hard, destroyed the car. So we're kind of, digging ourselves out of a hole. We won the next race, Carroll Bay. Then we got spawned and wrecked out at South Austin while fighting for second. And then a fourth at Langley. And then we went to Caraway over the 4th of July, sat on the pole, led the most laps, and got spun out while racing in the top 2 there, too. So just been kind of a different season for us. Not that we're usually used to that, so it's been a trying season. But luckily, nobody's really had a stellar season, so nobody's really out of the point race just yet. A couple good races at Bowman Gray and then Bristol, we could be right back in the thick of things.
How many races are left?
I believe there's 7 races left on our schedule. It's a shorter season this year. We've had some weeks off. We'll have Bowman Gray, then we'll have 2 weeks off. We'll have Bristol, and then 2 weeks off again, and then we'll have, a top 5 race stretch.
What's the racetrack y'all go to the most? Do y'all go to Bowman Gray like 3 or 4 times?
No, Bowman Gray only once a year.
Or is that enough?
Which is fine because it's a little bit of a wild card. But Caraway is kind of the home base. We've gone there as many as 6 times in a year. This year only 3. And then also 2 races at places like South Boston and Langley. So we got Hickory back on the schedule. We're excited about that. Just with the history of that track and the struggle and challenge that it, is because it's rough, worn out, it's rough on the tires. So that'll be a really neat racetrack and one I'd love to add my name to the record books as winning there.
Now this is a new team that you started with last year, right? And y'all won the championship in y'all's first year together?
No, we've been together a few years. I came through partway through 2011. So we've won together in our 3rd start ever, and things were looking really good. We had a little bit of a rough season in 12, 13. We won 3 races right at the end of the year and kind of kept our momentum into 14, which was a great season for us, and we came out on top of the championship.
How tough is Bowman Gray? We're going to be up there this weekend. It's our first time there. I mean, that place looks like it's got to be super demanding.
Yeah, it's a tough track, and it's tough to just drive out there, just one car on the track because it's so flat. It's not very forgiving. On a bank track, you can drive it in, the turn, and slide up just a little bit, but the banking will slow you down. There isn't any of that, so you can't get on the brakes too hard. You can't drive it in too hard. So that makes it tough in itself. And then you're just starting, it's almost like starting and stopping traffic. You get up to about 100 miles an hour at the end of the straightaway and probably do about 40 through the turn. So it gets tough because somebody behind you can ruin your day just by driving a little bit over their head. That's why we kind of call it a wild card. And it is so narrow and tight that one wreck could take the whole field out. So it's kind of like, even though it's the smallest track we go to, it can be a lot like the restrictor plate tracks in the fact that you could be caught up in the big one that you had nothing to do with. So you definitely want to get through that, not get caught up. That'll be the main goal.
Can 2 cars run side by side there for a few laps?
You can. It's hard to pass somebody, but on a restart, if you are next to somebody inside or outside, you can get by them. But it gets difficult, to get on the outside of somebody driving in the turn, because if you drive it in hard enough to get up next to them, chances are your nose is going to wash up. You're not going to make the turn. And same thing is trying to get under somebody. You got to pitch it a little bit and try and power up next to them. So it can be tough, but definitely puts on a good show for the fans.
So what is your favorite racetrack that you've been to?
There's a few out there. I might be biased because I grew up at Star Speedway. It's nothing to be sure, but I still say that little quarter mile puts on some of the best races that I've ever been to watch or be involved in. Obviously, Bristol is absolutely amazing to go there with a modified, to get the chance to be on that track, but also just experience the banking and everything that goes along with it. I love Concord Motorsports Park. Unfortunately, it's been closed the last few years, but that's one of the most exciting racetracks I've ever been to because it's so difficult. So there's a lot of great racetracks we go to with modifieds, but I haven't been to one I don't like, because anytime you're in a modified, it's great.
All right, well, all of us up here, we like to eat, so who has the best food?
While you're at Bowman Gray Stadium?
Well, no, I'm just saying any of the racetracks that you guys go to.
Oh, I don't know. My mom feeds us, and typically there's a line at our trailer, people that want our food, so we don't have to too much.
Well, we know where to go. We know where to go eat now on Saturday. What time's food is done?
Typically after qualifying, box, so just go where the line of people are. And my mom's, we joke around, she's 130% Italian, but she's not happy until everybody's fed. And that she loves taking care of people, and she takes great care of not just our team, but everybody in the Southern Modified Tour.
I bet you are popular. Your mom's popular, then, I bet.
Oh, I've been told more than once on when we're negotiating rides and stuff like that, that I only get a ride if my mom comes to cook.
What is the difference in the modifieds that run at Bowman Gray on a regular basis to the Southern modifieds that you run, or the other any other modifieds? What are the differences there?
Basically, the only thing on the weekly Bowman Gray deal is the tires. They run narrower tires, and they run the same tires on the left and right, so they get an issue of trying to get staggered. So the way they overcome that is they run, either a Gleason or a Ratchet type rear end to overcome that. So we aren't allowed to run that rear end. We run big tires, so we are allowed to get the stagger, which is in the difference in the left and right side tires, to help you turn. So that's the biggest thing as far as the weekly racing in modified. The motors are the same, the weights are the same, pretty much everything except for the tires.
So it's kind of easy for somebody to. Sandy, I got a list of questions here. Just a few questions to ask you. What's the CD that's in your car right now?
Well, I don't have a CD in my car. I drive an old S10. Doesn't have an iPod hookup, so I usually have my headphones on. And the song
that's funny
that I've been listening to lately is Dangerous by Big Data. That really gets me going, and sometimes I sing it to myself in the car while I'm racing.
Who's your celebrity crush?
Celebrity crush?
Yeah.
Lord have mercy, I didn't even know these questions are going to get asked here.
I don't know. I don't have time to think about that kind of thing. I'm a broke race car driver. I'm either working or working on the race car.
Well, I'd say you're broke because you're still driving an S10.
Yeah, exactly. And, but I'm very happy with my S10. It made the 900 miles to New Hampshire and back the past few weeks, so proud of the girl. Keep around a little bit longer. But I don't really spend much time thinking about celebrity crushes as much as I think about it. I'd like to be driving Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s race car. Just jealous of where he is at this point in his career.
Right. All right. What is your favorite potato chips?
I don't eat potato chips.
Really?
Very, very rarely. If they're out while I'm making a sandwich, sometimes I'll put them in a sandwich. That's about the only time that I eat potato chips. Huh. And I'm not saying I'm super healthy, but I just don't end up grabbing potato chips.
Huh. All right. Have you ever played a practical joke on somebody?
Oh, of course. There's plenty of that stuff.
Well, let's hear a good one.
Yeah, I don't know. There's too many to really list. I'm trying to think of some. But when you're in a race team, you spend a lot of hours, especially after work, with guys in the race shop and playing jokes on each other and different things like that. One we have in my family race team in New Hampshire, and maybe you won't understand this, but the part of the spring rod that goes on the right rear, and it's a particular part we tried on the race car that I could not stand. I didn't like it. Some people have success with it. I don't. But the big joke in our shop is when I'm acting up or the guys are mad at me or anything like that, they'll just set it on the floor next to the race car in the shop like they're getting ready to put it in. So that's that's when I know I have to behave. Maybe thank the guys a little more, pat them on the back, be nicer. But you know, the joking never ends. And if you can listen to our radio during the race, we always have a good time. And you know, to be quite honest, I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't have an absolute blast every time I was around the racetrack with my group of guys.
Well, that's great, because I mean, if it's not fun, I don't want to go to the racetrack if it's not fun anymore.
Absolutely.
Well, Andy, we appreciate your time tonight. Oh, I got one more question. How well do you know? How well do you know Brian Morehouse?
Brian Morehouse?
Yeah.
Or Waterhead.
You got any?
He's never invited me on all the cool trips he's going on and stuff like that. But you know, Brian Morehouse, I know him just from our professional racing relationship. But he's a great guy. Always has a great attitude about everything. But
are we talking about the same guy?
What's that?
I said, are we talking about the same guy? I'm just being funny.
Oh, you know, Brian's a great guy, and he's the first person that, you know, at the car when you're in a wreck. And unfortunately, I've had some good ones in my career. I've spent more time with him than I'd really like to. But, you know,
I agree.
He cares a great deal about his job, and we appreciate that.
Well, Andy, when you see him this weekend down at Bowman Gray, call him Lugnut.
And you'll have to ask. You'll have to ask him about it. We'll let him tell you.
All right, I'll make sure to do that.
Well, Andy, we appreciate your time tonight. I know you got a lot going on. We'll see you at Bowman Gray this weekend.
After qualifying for dinner.
Sounds good. I'll see you guys there.
All right, man. We appreciate your time. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
I just thought of a good practical joke you could have played when Jack shows up, but the kitchen's closed on the door.
Hey, I can full Italian. You know that's some good food.
Hey, look, it's gonna be bad enough when we get to the racetrack next week, and Andy Seuss is gonna go up and call Morehouse Lugnut. That's gonna be bad enough. Scott and I are gonna have to hide for a little while.
Is Lugnut going?
Well, I don't know that, but
okay.
You'll have to ask.
You'll have to ask Brian. And I know Brian's watching the show tonight.
He probably is. I'm surprised their phones haven't
because he said he was going to watch it. He'll probably wait till we get off air, and then he'll probably call, and we don't. Anyway, it'll be funny, but
oh, you know, we've got to play our intro. It's getting kind of dark. Somebody has got to fix their lights.
All right. Well, we appreciate your time tonight. Thanks a lot for joining us. It was a great show. Thanks to Lee Pulliam, Chris Fleming, and Andy Seuss. Can't wait till next week, and we'll see everybody. We'll give you an update from Bowman Gray.
Yeah, and hopefully have the winner to Bowman Gray the following week, hopefully.
Yeah, well, hopefully we'll work that out. All right, we'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.